All right. Chapter 2.3, I need to do in two parts. The first part is not this first page. This first page basically can be done on Desmos. So most of Desmos, or most of chapter 2.3 I will show you on Desmos. But what I can't use Desmos for is this page right here. You can't use Desmos for this. So this part has to be done by hand. You see where this shows an exponent of 2? Well, that means you write that puppy out twice. Sometimes the old way is the best way. Is it a pain in the butt? Yes, especially with a mouse. Now, there's only one of those. Now, cancel the ones that are alike, because if I have 5 divided by 5, that reduces to 1. Same deal when you've got binomials. If the binomial is the same, it reduces to 1. That one's the same, that one is the same. So choppa choppa and choppa choppa. So this happens to be your answer. Then when you type this in, there's a key on your typewriter that has question mark and a slash. That slash is your fraction key. So you're going to put your fraction key in there first, and then type in x minus 4, and then arrow down, type in x minus 2. Now, I put special instructions for number 6. It says reduce and x is not equal to what? Well, remember I told you in chapter 1.4 that fractions are not fractions. Factoring is not going away. Well, I'm going to tell you again. So I can't emphasize enough that factoring must become your friend, because factoring will not go away until you take your final. I promise. Factoring is going to be here until the end of class. So the faster you learn I keep saying fractions because I'm looking at a fraction. But the faster you learn factoring, the faster it's going to quit biting you in the butt. So, this one is type 2. Type 2 is minus big minus small. So there's only one way to get a 3. Minus big minus small. So minus big is minus 3. Minus small is minus 1. Now, type 4. Minus big, because there's a minus in the middle. Minus big plus small. Again, there's only one way to multiply and get 3. Minus big plus small. Now, before we do anything else, what is x not allowed to be? X is not allowed to be whatever makes the denominator 0. So this is not allowed to be 0. So what I do is I take x minus 3, not allowed to be 0, and I take x plus 1, not allowed to be 0. And remember, when a number goes or a term goes to the opposite side of an equals, it takes the opposite sign. So instead of negative 3, I get positive 3. And instead of positive 1, I get negative 1. Now, my very last step here, I cancel my like terms. This one has a minus, that one has a plus. So I hit my fraction key, put x minus 1 up top and x plus 1 on the bottom. This one, 5 isn't so hard. 6 is a little bit more difficult. Now, number 7 I think is the coolest one. Notice 2x, 2x, 5, 5. Minus in the middle. When this happens, the answer is always minus 1. And let me show you why. If I take minus 1 times the top, and I love this. This is so cool. Negative times positive is minus. 1 times stuff is stuff. Minus times minus is positive. 1 times stuff is stuff. Let me switch order so that minus goes in the middle. And what I've got is my denominator. So I started with my numerator, and numerator is the top. And what I ended with was what's in the bottom, which is my denominator. So how cool is that? Just saying. Now, a rule of fractions, by the way, remember I gave you that a link to that website that has fractions. This is part of the reason, because fractions keep showing up here and there throughout the whole semester. Aren't allergies lovely little things? So Notice these two denominators are exactly the same. That means all I do is add or subtract whatever that sign says, and that sign says to subtract. So I combine what the that sign says to do on the numerators. So 3x plus 1 minus x, so minus 1x. Notice I'm working my numerator. Minus a minus 7. Minus a minus 7 means to plus 7. So that gives me 2x's plus 8. Now, I have a 2 in both of these. That's why we had to do factoring common factors out. So when I pull that 2 out front, that leaves me x plus 4 over x plus 4. Well, how cool is that? Choppa, choppa. My answer is just 2. Uh-oh, numbers 9 and 10 are not that easy. Dang it. I wish it was. I wish it was. Pull a 3 out of this bottom. 3x minus 2. Now, I could factor the top, but I don't want to just yet. Now, that means I need to multiply this one by 3. Well, that sucks. So, the next step, 4x plus 4. Now, minus 3 times x minus 3 times 2. So that leaves me an x minus 2 up top. And technically, I could call that 1 times, because I see something that's fixing to happen here. Do you see it too? Choppa, choppa. Now, when everything in the numerator goes away, there has to be something left up top. That's why I put that 1. Because there's a huge difference between a third of a dollar and $3. Yuck. Do you see why you can't do this on Desmos? Now, both of these are type 1. See why I say you have to know factoring? You absolutely must learn it. Now, how can you multiply and get 6, add and get 5? How can you multiply and get 15, add and get 8? For both of these, it's plus big and plus small. So we get 1 over x plus 3, x plus 2. Ain't this a pain in the butt? And then x plus 5, x plus 3. Now, your LCM or LCD, whatever you want to call it, for this one, has to be x plus 3, that one, x plus 2, and then x plus 5. So both denominators have to have all 3 of those pieces. Well, that one's missing x plus 5. And this one is missing x plus 2. So, ain't that some nasty stuff? So we get x, 1 times stuff, plus 5, plus 3x, plus 6 over stuff, your LCM. So 1 times stuff, x plus 5, 3 times x, 3 times 2. So now simplify. X plus 3x is 4x. 5 plus 6 is 11. And then you put all of your stuff back. And this is a pain in the butt. And that don't clean up none. Yuck. I'm just saying. That one is some nasty crap. Now, number 11 through 16 has equal signs, so we can do Desmos. So that's the end of this one. Yeehaw!